So during the beginning of the year, Joe Biden was pretty much destined to be the nominee for the Democratic Party to challenge President Trump during the November election, the general election, if you will. And it was clear to anybody who was paying attention that Joe Biden was not well. He is not okay. And I'm talking in the medical sense. The guy is not there. And in the beginning of the year, the fake news industry was kind of positioning themselves, kind of, throwing things out there, planting seeds about delaying the election, postponing the election, doing really weird shit in regards to the elections because the presumptive nominee was not physically well. He was sick. I thought that was just really weird. I thought it was so weird, but it makes all the more sense now. However, Trump ended up, flanking these nerds. And a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, I think a little over a month ago, Trump asked a question on Twitter. He asked, hey, should we delay the elections because of the pandemic? ? Well, he didn't say pandemic, but yeah, And people were like, oh my God, the orange man is positioning himself to be president for life, and we're going to march down to the polls in November. There's no excuse to delay the elections or to, put an end to them because of orange man. We're going to vote the orange bastard out. Start packing, Drumpf. This is what they were saying. There was no excuse to delay the elections. There was no excuse for this rhetoric. And then, of course, they were saying he can't do it and all this blah, 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 blah. And, one of my friends was like, oh, my God, the GDP down 33%. And, oh, my God, now he wants to, postpone the elections, delay the elections. And I'm like, well, what he was doing was kind of, he flanked the left. He basically outplayed them because this was their proposal. These were their questions. And then, of course, when he asked it, then all of a sudden they pushed back against it. So I'm like, all right, great. There's no excuse not to have the election. There's no excuse not to have people vote in person. And you know what else there's no excuse for? The debates in November. That's right. If we can vote, we can see a debate. They can debate. Well, the tune is changing. About a month or so ago, Six Hacks and Hammer did a really great video talking about the fake news industry basically begging Joe Biden, the Democratic nominee, not to challenge Trump in a debate, not to engage with Trump, because it's like, don't validate the Nazi, don't make him valid or all this stupid cringy bullshit that the left likes to say. I thought that was very interesting. So now the fake news industry is basically trying to plant the seeds again and prevent Joe Biden from combating Trump in a fucking head-to-head debate. I thought that was very interesting. And now the Speaker of the House, one of the highest ranking members of the DNC, is echoing those exact sentiments. I thought that was very interesting. Now just before we watch this clip from Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, she's a Democrat for those who don't live in the U.S., here's a clip from Anderson Pooper. This is very recent ago. Anderson Pooper asked Joe Biden a question, and Joe Biden completely answers with something totally unrelated. I'm blown away. I don't understand. Let's just go ahead and watch. Pay very close attention.
About the shooting of Mr. Blake. He's talked about violence at protests in the wake of it. I'm wondering why you think that is that he hasn't actually addressed it. There's obviously a lot we do not know about the circumstances around it, but the video obviously has been out there.
Well, look, I don't know enough to know whether that 17-year-old kid exactly what he did, but allegedly he's part of a militia coming out of the state of Illinois. Have you ever heard this president say one negative thing about white supremacists? Have you ever heard it? That's the reason I got back in this race, because of what happened in Charlottesville. People coming out of the woods carrying torches, their veins bulging. Close your eyes and remember what you saw. And a young woman gets killed resisting the hate and violence, and the president gets asked to comment on it. What's he say? He says they're very fine people on both sides. He wouldn't even condemn David Duke, for God's sake, the former Grand Kleagle. I mean, this is a guy who has using division and hate is the only way he stays in office. That's what it's all about, dividing.
What is
and
your
the idea?
Unbelievable. You know, what happened in Wisconsin has, you know, with Kyle Rittenhouse and those BLM thugs who attacked him, one of them being a pedophile and another one being a serial woman abuser. And I guess the other guy didn't have a right to have a gun, and he's probably going to get, you know, put in jail on felony charges for pulling out that firearm the way that he did. The kid who got his right arm blown off. Fuck those people. None of this had to do with white supremacy, by the way. So you get, like, dude, he's crazy. He's got his talking points. You know, his staff set him down. He's like, all right, hit him with Charlottesville. Hit him with white supremacy. Hit him with, it doesn't matter about the fact, dude, Kyle Rittenhouse is a fucking Hispanic. And I'm defending him, you know. It doesn't matter. I don't really give a fuck what he is. He could have been a black militia member, and I still would have defended him. He has every right to defend himself. Hispanic guy. And he pivots to white supremacy. It's like, dude, like, you need to know what you're talking about. And he doesn't. And besides him not knowing what he's talking about, he wasn't even able to answer the question. He's pivoting towards his talking points that he's you know, been trained to repeat like a parrot. That's all he knows. He can't. Man, dude, let's just go ahead and jump over here to what Nancy Pelosi said.
Since you asked about that, I myself, just don't tell anybody I told you this, especially don't tell Joe Biden. I don't think that there should be any debates. Since you asked about that, I myself, just don't tell anybody I told you this, especially don't tell Joe Biden. I don't think that there should be any debates.
Should not be any debates. This is the Speaker of the House. If something horrific would have happened in D.C. and it would have taken out, you know, most of the, you know, the leadership in the United States, Nancy Pelosi is in line to become the president. Like, this is a very important woman, and she is saying that we should dispense with tradition. We should dispense with long-term traditions of debate and inquiry and putting ideas out there for the public to, you know, to make an educated decision at the voting in the voting at the polls, right? And she doesn't believe there should be a debate. The fake news industry agrees with that. They don't believe there should be a debate. They don't want it, but they lie. They say it's because they don't want to validate Trump or whatever cringy bullshit they're saying. And now Nancy Pelosi is saying the exact same shit. I think they are. I think the Democratic Party, I think the pedophiles in Hollywood, and I think the fake news industry, they're positioning Joe Biden to refuse debates with the president. They're probably going to use that as a last-ditch effort to attack him and suggest that he's so tyrannical, he's so out there that a debate would be unproductive and that we should just get it over with and vote him out. That's probably what they're going to do. Now, I know some people believe that the debates are still on. I don't think they're going to happen. I'm a betting man. If it were to be put to a bet, I'm leaning more towards this is not going to be something that we're going to see. Trump versus Biden. We're not going to see that. I would bet $500 that this wouldn't happen. Of course, I could be wrong, but I would make that bet. Absolutely. He's not with it. He's not well. The Speaker of the fucking House is coming out and publicly saying this. Oh man, they're terrified right now. The Democratic Party is terrified. Their front runner, the man that they expect to take the White House, might have Alzheimer's, might have dementia. He is sick. They are afraid. He's not even campaigning. I used to work in politics. I was an aide. Worked in the phone bank. Did data work. I was out canvassing. I was on the fucking streets. That's how you win elections. You go out on the streets and you talk to the people. There's no other way to do it. Yeah, the internet helps, and I know like Trump had a lousy ground game, but he campaigned like a motherfucker. His rallies were like concerts. Most concerts don't even get the number of people that he got at his rallies. The dude is a rock star. And then, of course, Hillary Clinton is just a fucking bitch. But now it's just like we don't have any of that. We don't have it. It's really just the internet. And Trump is dominating. And then, of course, we have the riots. We have citizen journalists like Elijah Schaffer. You got people from the Daily Caller and a lot of really awesome people that are on the ground risking their lives. And they're showing us what's going on in the streets. Democratic governors, Democratic mayors, Democratic, police chiefs like Carmen Best. They're refusing to defend the citizenry. They are outright rejecting assistance from Trump's administration in stopping the violence, saving lives. We know who was responsible for these things. We know who shut down and destroyed the economy. It was these Democratic governors taking people's jobs. And their front runner cannot and has not condemned the violence. He cannot answer simple questions. Look at the I think it was the last night of the DNC. I'm almost certain it was like the fourth night or whatever. Joe Biden, I think he was with Kamala Harris. I can't remember. It was a bore fest, so forgive me. But, he did like a grandiose speech. He's doing what Biden was supposed to do. And it was like, okay, or whatever. And towards the end, the reporters were there. And I guess they were trying to ask questions, but the staffers were like, hey, you fucking retards, go outside. There's fireworks. And they all get up like fucking sheep and march out together. It was the most pathetic fucking thing I've ever seen at a convention like this. Utterly fucking pathetic. And, and at that point, it just occurred to me that the DNC, the fake news industry, the Joe Biden campaign, they're all working in concert to defeat the president of the United States. And they are absolutely working overtime to conceal the fact that Joe Biden is not well. Vote Trump 2020, man, because if it's Joe Biden, the Kamala Harris is further to the left than Bernie Sanders, and she's going to end up being the president. This is a hateful woman. She's racist, especially against white males. She's antagonistic towards Second Amendment rights. No, thank you. So same with Joe Biden. Some of the shit that came out of his mouth was further to the left of Bernie Sanders. The choice is obvious for me, man. I'm voting fucking Trump. I make no apologies for it. I know some of my black pillar buddies, they fucking hate him for reasons I'm not going to get into because I don't want to get banned. But the choice is obvious. The choice is easy. Peace out.